Hello everyone and welcome to Java Basics. In this video we will build on top of the work we did until now and discuss one of the most important concepts in programming, loops. Let's start with the most basic question. What's a loop? A loop lets us perform a block of code many times based on a condition. This is similar to the if statement we discussed in the previous video. Java has two major loop types with 4 total variants. We will start with the most common one, the for loop. It has 2 variants, which we will cover today. We will start with the basic version. The basic for statement has 3 parts. They are separated by a semicolon. In the first part, we can declare a variable that we will use to count the number of times we want to execute the following block. This is a standard variable declaration. We declare a variable of type int, which stands for integer. An integer is a round number. It can't have fractions. We will discuss the various types we can have in a future video. But for now, it's enough to say that we can put numbers into iter and do simple math with it. Next, we define the condition used by the loop. In this case, the loop will run as long as iter is smaller than 10. As you can see, iter is initialized to 0, so this condition will be true. As long as this condition is true, the scope below the loop will repeat over and over again. Finally, we define an operation that we can do every time the loop repeats. The ++ symbol is a special operation in Java. It's called an increment. It adds 1 to the variable. I could have written it as iter equals plus iter plus 1, but this is shorter and easier to write. Since adding 1 to a variable is so common, we have a special operator for it. There's also a special decrement operator which removes 1, and it uses 2 minus signs. But I digress. Now we need to open curly braces for the scope under the for loop. Here we print the value of the current iter variable. It's as simple as a loop can be. Notice that if I used the plus operator with 2 integers, they would add their values. But since the value on the left is a string, it treats the number like it would treat a string. Let's run this and see what it does. Unsurprisingly, it prints out the numbers from 0 to 9. Not the most useful thing in the world, but we're getting there. Now, you may recall I mentioned there's a second form of the for loop. While it also uses the for keyword, it uses a different syntax for a different purpose. The second type of for loop is designed to go over collections or arrays. We will discuss collections later. For now, let's focus on arrays. Up until now, we only saw the args array here. This is a relatively simple way to declare an array with 4 elements. There are several things to highlight here. We declare an int followed by square braces. That means we're declaring an array. When assigning the value, we use the new keyword, which means we're allocating an object in memory. The following int and brackets indicate the type. The curly brackets after that let us assign a value to the elements of the array. We usually don't use the values when allocating an array. This is just for this case. This for loop is called a for each loop. It's invoked once for each element in the array or collection. Unlike the previous loop, which counted numbers, here the value of current is the value from the array. So it would be 1, 2, 3, and finally 4. As a result, there is no stopping condition, only the array that we traverse. This syntax is separated with a colon instead of a semicolon. I just updated the print statement to reflect that, and we can run the loop. It prints a similar result. As you can see, the numbers correspond to the numbers we had in the array. The second loop type is a while loop. It too has two variants. The while loop is much simpler. We declare a variable, but it has nothing to do with the loop. It's a regular variable that we will use to count the loop. We only write the condition within the while statement. This is identical to the middle section of the for loop. We print just like we did in the for loop, and finally we increment the iter variable in the end of the loop. Typically, you would use a while loop for more elaborate things than this. But since we didn't learn those things yet, I'm using it as a poor man's for loop. When we run it, we get the exact same output we got with the regular for loop. But there's another variant to the while loop. This is a bit harder to understand at this stage. The do while loop performs the loop first and then checks the condition. This isn't as common as the other loop variants, but when you need it, well, then it's really useful. It makes sense when a loop must be performed at least once, or if the condition needs us to initialize the variable in the first iteration of the loop. Again, this isn't such a case, so the output will be identical to the previous versions of the loop. If you still don't understand loops, don't worry. We'll spend a lot of time with them and go over them in the debugger. They are a remarkably useful tool for building complex applications. In the next video, we'll start building a command line Wordle clone. Finally, something cool, and it's all thanks to loops. If you have any questions, please use the comment section. Thank you.